AITA for refusing to cover for my battle buddy, even though it cost him everything. AITA for this. I have replayed it in my head more times than I can count, and even years later, I still do not know if there was a perfect answer. I was active duty Army infantry at the time, in a unit where trust was not a buzzword. It was survival. We were in a high-tempo training cycle, constantly exhausted, constantly moving, and leadership made expectations very clear. Show up on time. Do your job. If one person fails, everyone feels it. I had a teammate who was not a bad person. He was not malicious or lazy in an obvious way. He was just unreliable. Always late, always missing small things, always assuming someone else would quietly fix it. And most of the time, we did. That is how units function. You do not want to be the reason someone gets crushed by leadership, so you cover down and move on. The problem was that it never stopped. The incident that changed everything happened the night before a major movement. He was assigned guard. A simple task, but a critical one. Hours went by, and he never showed up. No call, no radio, nothing. I stayed awake and covered the shift because leaving it unmanned was not an option. At the time, I told myself I would deal with it later. The next morning, leadership noticed something was off with the guard roster. They started asking questions. Before anyone answered, my teammate pulled me aside. He looked stressed and desperate. He asked me to lie. Just say he was there. Just say we misunderstood the schedule. Just say anything to make it go away. That moment lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it felt much longer. I knew this was not a one-time mistake. I knew if I covered for him again, nothing would change. And I also knew that if something worse had happened during that shift, it would have been on me. So I told leadership the truth. No embellishment, no anger, just facts. He missed guard. I covered it. That was it. The fallout was immediate. He lost a school slot he had been waiting months for. He got flagged. His reputation took a hit that never really recovered. Word spread fast, and suddenly I was the guy who broke the code, the guy who could not be trusted. People stopped talking around me. Some were openly angry. What made it worse was that I did not feel good about it. I did not feel righteous. I did not feel like I had won anything. I just felt heavy, like I had dropped a weight that landed on someone else. A few days later, our squad leader pulled me aside. I expected a lecture. Instead, he told me he understood why people were upset. Then he said something I did not expect. He said loyalty is not protecting someone from consequences forever. Loyalty is making sure the team is not put in danger because someone refuses to take responsibility. He said trust breaks faster when people assume others will always cover for them. After that, something changed in the unit. People showed up on time. Guard shifts were taken seriously. Nobody joked about skating by anymore. But the cost was real. My teammate never looked at me the same, and I cannot blame him. Months later, I ran into him again during another training cycle. Different situation, same unit. He was quieter than I remembered. Still did his job, but the edge was gone. The confidence, the ambition. At one point, he pulled me aside and said he understood why I did what I did, but that it still changed how he saw the Army and how he saw people. That stuck with me. I realized then that accountability does not come without collateral damage. Even when you are right on paper, someone else still pays a price. Leadership moved on. The unit moved on. I moved on. He carried it longer. What complicates it even more is that I do not think he was a bad soldier. I think he was overwhelmed, immature, and hiding it poorly. In another environment, with more guidance early on, maybe things would have gone differently. That is the part people do not talk about. Sometimes the system corrects behavior, but it does not always help the person. If I am honest, I still do not know what the perfect answer was. I know what the regulation answer was. I know what protected the team. But loyalty, brotherhood, and leadership are messy in real life. They rarely fit cleanly into right or wrong. So when people ask me now what I would do differently, the truth is this: I would still tell the truth. But I would have tried harder to address the problem before it ever reached that point. That lesson stayed with me long after the uniform came off. So AITA for choosing accountability over loyalty, even knowing what it would cost him.